In the ancient world, long before our time, people began to turn away from the ways of God. Violence, greed, and selfishness filled the earth. People no longer cared about what was right. They hurt each other and ignored the Creator who had given them life. God looked upon humanity and saw that their hearts were full of evil. It grieved him deeply, and he decided that the world needed a fresh start. But among all the people, there was one man who lived differently, Noah. Noah was a righteous man, faithful and obedient to God. He listened when others ignored. One day, God spoke to Noah with a message that would change his life forever. God said, "Noah, I'm going to bring a great flood to wash away the evil on the earth. But I will make a covenant with you. Build an ark, a great wooden ship, and you, your family, and 2 of every kind of animal will be safe inside." The task was enormous. The ark had to be massive, longer than a football field, 3 stories high, and strong enough to withstand a global flood. Noah began to work, cutting down trees, shaping beams, and sealing the wood with pitch to make it waterproof. Day after day, he worked faithfully, and his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, helped him. The sound of hammers and saws echoed as the huge structure began to take shape. People from nearby towns came to watch. They laughed and mocked Noah. "Why are you building a boat on dry land?" they jeered. But Noah kept working. He tried to warn them about the coming flood, urging them to turn back to God. But they wouldn't listen. When the ark was finally complete, God sent animals to Noah, 2 of every kind, from the smallest insects to the tallest giraffes, from roaring lions to gentle doves. 7 pairs of certain animals like sheep and cows also came. It must have been an amazing sight. Creatures of all shapes, colors, and sizes, walking, flying, and crawling toward the ark in perfect order. Noah and his family carefully guided them into their stalls, storing food for the long journey ahead. At last, God told Noah to bring his family inside. Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives entered the ark. When they were all inside, God himself closed the massive door. Then the rain began to fall. At first, it was gentle, just a light drizzle. But soon the heavens opened and water poured down in torrents. The ground shook as underground springs burst open, flooding the land from below and above. Rivers overflowed, valleys filled, and within days the entire earth was covered in water. The ark rose higher and higher, lifted by the floodwaters. Outside, the world was washed clean, but inside the ark, there was safety. For 40 days and nights, the rain did not stop. The waves crashed, the wind roared, but the ark held steady. Noah and his family cared for the animals, feeding them and making sure each one was safe. After many weeks, the rain finally stopped, but the world was still covered with water. The ark drifted in silence across a vast, endless ocean. Then one day, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. The water slowly began to recede, but it would be months before the earth was dry again. Noah sent out a raven, but it did not return. Then he sent out a dove, which came back with nothing. A week later, he sent the dove again, and this time it returned with a fresh olive leaf in its beak. Noah knew that plants were growing again. A week later, he sent the dove once more, and it did not return, proof that the land was ready. Finally, God told Noah to leave the ark. The great door swung open, and sunlight poured inside. Noah, his family, and all the animals stepped out onto the fresh, clean earth. The air was crisp, and the world was new. The first thing Noah did was build an altar to thank God. He offered a sacrifice and God was pleased. God made a promise, saying, "Never again will I destroy the earth with a flood." As a sign of his covenant, God placed a rainbow in the sky, a beautiful arc of colors stretching from one side of the horizon to the other. It would be a reminder to every generation that God keeps his promises. And so life began again. Noah's family would grow and spread across the earth, and the rainbow would stand as a symbol of hope, mercy, and God's faithfulness forever.